All right, let's ask the tough questions for these teams going into week four. Playoff implications pretty much in every game. First game we got is going to be the Wolverines versus the Butchers. What is a question you have for the Wolverines that need to be answered this week, Q?
I think the Wolverines really need to show now what team are they going to try to bring into the playoffs. They need another win right now
Yep.
to get in a rhythm, definitely. So I need to know from the Wolverines: are you going to be the team that paper wise says you can beat, or are you going to keep having these inconsistent games where sometimes you putting up a lot of numbers and the offense looks okay, and then this past game, it was just we're just going to try whatever we can type of thing. So my question to the Wolverines in this upcoming game: are you going to get a solidified win and a dominant one?
And I'll talk about the Butchers in this game. My question to the Butchers, it's a simple one. Can you win in the Maple League? 3 weeks, no wins. This is another opportunity. We saw a Wolverines team on Saturday that looks beatable, looks very beatable. So this is your opportunity. I think the Butchers missed their best opportunity to get a win was week one, and they gave up a 21-point lead. So obviously we don't want to see that, but they haven't put together a full four-quarter game. And the Wolverines are a team that also hasn't put together a full four-quarter game. So this could be the perfect storm for them. And I don't know about the exact playoff implications, but from my understanding, the Butchers could, slide into it by winning these last two games because they would ruin records for some of these other teams that are in the playoff hunt. So can you win in the Maple League? That's all I want to know from you. So moving to the second game of the weekend, we got the Roosters versus the Royals. What is the question you have for the Helsinki Roosters?
My question for the Helsinki Roosters would probably be: are you ready to show that Roosters football that we just seen them, put on this past weekend? Are they ready to do that against Wassa? Now, I think Wassa the Royals are going to be. This game is going to be a pretty interesting game. Because the matchups, I feel like the Roosters have everything to beat the Royals. But I also feel like offensively, the Roosters have an advantage. I think it'll be hard for the Royals to match up against the Roosters offense. So my question would be to the Roosters: are we going to see the dominant Rooster team as a whole, or we're going to get one of those, that the first Scorpio game type of situations? Like, or are you going to be, putting up stats but also giving up a lot? So my question to the Roosters would be like, are you going to come in and dominate this Royals team, or are we going to have a shootout?
Yeah, that makes sense. For the Royals, I'm going to ask, are you for real? I know it seems a little late to be asking that for a team that's 3-0, but look at the three teams you beat. You beat three teams that we don't really see much from. You beat the Butchers, you beat the Crocs, and who else did they beat? I'm trying to remember. Butchers, Crocs. Who else did they beat?
Man, who did they play? They played it. So did they? No, they didn't beat the Wolverines, did they? Did they beat the Wolverines?
Yeah, they did beat the Wolverines. That's who it was.
Yeah, Wolverines. Yeah,
sorry. Yeah. Well, anyways, you beat three teams that we're not, saying they're really that great. Anyways, there's three teams that we think are borderline bubble. But now you're playing the Roosters, who we're not sure if they're great either. But are you for real? Because this is the type of game where a team that's already clinched a playoff berth could say, okay, let's take it easy and try not to go full tilt against the Roosters, who don't look like the best team in the league anymore anyways. I would call that problematic because I don't care if you won 3 games or not. You haven't proven you're the best team until you've beaten everybody. And the Roosters are another team. And we've seen the Royals play games, the first 2 games of the season, where actually all 3 of their games, you could say that they didn't play a full 4 quarters. Even in this last game, they won technically, but there was times where it looked like they probably should have lost this game. The first 2 games, they waited until the second half to actually play. We know that you cannot do that type of stuff against the Roosters. I don't care if they only got one win. They're still who they are. They're not a team that you can take lightly. So I want to know, are the Royals for real? We put you on this pedestal now. You're 3-0. We said you're the second best team in the league. Now, a lot of teams this year, when we say you're good, they go and fuck it off. Sorry for that language. They go and fuck it off. And then we over here fighting all the trolls online about what's really going on. So Royals, are you for real? Are you committed to going to the last week of the season at 4-0 and then saying, okay, Steelers, let's go? Not looking too far in the future, but in this game, you have to beat the Roosters to show us that you are for real. I'm probably gonna pick y'all this week though. I'm definitely gonna pick y'all.
And to piggyback off of kind of what you're saying,
Yeah.
What I want to know from the Royals are my, like you said, are they for real? I think they have that it factor when it comes to these games, and that comes from like their just culture. They just fight, like no matter what, they fight. Yeah. They play hard. But if they win this game, that's pretty much first round home game for the playoffs. If they win this game, I believe. Yeah. So this is a clincher. This is a clincher for the Royals. Like, and that is big. If anybody that hasn't been to Finland and know the distance of going to play in Vasa, like a team, they're pretty much going to have to go the day before just to get in, just to play that game. So I think this is a real important game. It'll probably be the best game of the weekend in my eyes. So the Royals definitely are like you said, are you for real? Like, are they ready to? And they're not even stacked. Like the Royals aren't even stacked import wise. Like they're not even stacked like that. They just got the imports that they do have are super important, and they show up when they need them to. And that's what you bring imports in for, not to be average. And the Royals have above average imports. So
yeah, definitely probably the best import group so far.
Yeah,
I mean, not counting the Steelers. I feel like Steelers have so many that it's not as hard for them. But anyways, last game, we got the Crocodiles versus the Steelers. What's the question you want to see the Crocodiles answer?
Whew. Are you going to get another win? Are you going to get another win? This is going to be a tough one for them. This is going to be a tough one for them. Like, what plan do they have for this? Although I think talent-wise, they kind of equal talent-wise as far as imports, as far as local, like, I don't say local players, but I say as far as imports, the imports are going to have to really show up on both sides of the ball for the Crocs this game. And not just show up, but they're going to have some major effects on this game. And the Crocs, the question I have for them really is, can you upset them in this game? Because that's the answer. It ain't more so of can you win the game. It's just I think everybody's probably picking Scorpio to win this game. So what are you going to do?
I was sitting there trying to think of a question for the Steelers. I'm like, it's just a tough one. I mean, I think again all the pressure is going to be on the Crocodiles, but for the Steelers going into this game, I guess my question would be, it's hard to say it. Are we trying to pad stats or are we trying to develop? I want to know if that's what you're trying to do in this game. Obviously, you're going to have your starters out there. It's still too early to say, oh, well, we already clinched home field. You got to win at least 4 games to clinch home field. But I feel like this is one of them. I think this is going to be a similar game to what we saw with the Wolverines. I don't think that the Crocodiles defense can handle this offense. I think their offense might be able to do some things, and I think this is probably going to be Christian Powell's toughest test outside of that week 1 shenanigans. But my question for the Steelers would be is, in this game, you're going to get ahead. You're going to get ahead by a lot, in my opinion. Are you going to, just put your foot on their throat and just keep putting up stats offensively and then leaving all your starters in defensively so they can get their stats? Or are you sprinkling in younger guys? Are you trying to develop some guys so that when the playoffs come, there's some no names that we don't know that can show up and have that confidence to help you, win the Maple Bowl? So that's my question: is this going to be one of those stat games, or am I gonna see some fresh faces in the game contributing as you try to work them into the mix going into the playoff stretch? I feel like that's a tough question. So
Yeah.